bells, the bells, they toll for gardeners too. Hi, I'm Adam, and it's Friday the 17th of March, middle of the month. It's a lovely mild morning. The forecast for the weekend is pretty good, much the same. So what I'm going to do today, I hope you lot are going to be doing over the weekend. We'll start. The big number today is sowing early potatoes. The variety that I've had chitting away in the little front here are Belle de Fontenay. They're a French variety, and as you can see, I've left them for the last few weeks, got lots of lovely little chitted shoots. They'll be very happy to go into the ground now. And let's go down to the allotment and get to work. Hello, dog. How are you this morning? Morning, Joy.
Good morning, Adam.
Oh, I like the... Oh, very good. Have you got your carrots in yet?
No.
So...
Have you got yours in?
Have I got... I've sown some carrots in that cloche there. Hello, darling. You're very bouncy. And what are you doing? Getting your sweet peas in?
Sweet peas in. Yes. Oh. Harden them off.
But they're not vegetables.
I don't care.
You can't eat them.
I don't care. I like flowers and vegetables.
Right. Now then, I haven't been on the allotment for a week, so it's good to see what's going on. These are broad bean. Can't remember even the variety. Oh yeah, Meteor Roma, clearly of a foreign type. I sowed them about 3 weeks ago, and the little darlings are just putting up their noses, gosh bless them. But we haven't had any rain in the last week, and the soil is already quite dry and crispy on the top. But they're going to be fine. You know, you'd think the countryside is quiet. I've got pneumatic drills on my left, church bells on my right, jets overhead. Last weekend I transplanted some globe artichokes, and even though it's been dry, because I've got a lot of shit in this ground and they had a good water, it's in very, very good heart, and they're already just starting to zoom off. Ah, these things here, absolutely fantastic. This is another French seed. It's a pea called Douce Provence, and I sowed these about 4 weeks ago under this poly-cloche, which is very cheap and cheerful but incredibly effective. And look at them. Second week in March, very happy, starting to grow like mad, and I guess in another couple of weeks I'll take the cloche off, put some pea sticks in, and hopefully we'll have some peas in June. If I look at my diary for last year, I had grown in this bed onions. This year I want to follow them with early potatoes. So what I did at the beginning of September was to sow field beans. And these I turned loosely into the soil at the end of January and covered the whole lot in black polythene and have let it all rot down, as you can see. And the soil is beautifully moist, and I'm going to plant my early potatoes through the black poly into this soil. So here we go, string and a ruler. Although I would say that I have a trick, which is that the width of my hand is 8 inches. So 1.5 widths makes a foot. And I can measure all the distances I want in planting terms, just using my hand. However, this morning I am going to use my trusty ruler as well, because I want a 9-inch from the edge of the bed to where I plant my potato. Next thing is knife to make some cuts. I will make my first plant in about 8 inches or so, just over 9 inches from the edge. That's the first one. I want a foot, which is a thingy and a half, which is about there. You only have to be approximate. Belle de Fontenay. Now what I'm looking for here is a nice good shoots, and I rub out some of the weaker ones, make a hole with my dibber about 6 inches deep, and drop the potato in with the shoots uppermost. Cover it gently with soil, go on to the next one. Nice big hole, there's a nice big, some nice shoots there, a couple extra ones I don't really like, rub them off, drop in, cover over, and on we go. is one of the most enjoyable things to be doing on this lovely mild morning in the middle of March, because unless you've grown your own potatoes and eaten them, dug them out of the ground and boiled them and eaten them with some lovely melted butter, you haven't lived. I like to use polythene cloches because they're very cheap, and if they don't get ruined by the wind, they can last for 2 or 3 seasons. But what you need are wire hoops. Instead of spending a fortune buying them from a nursery, go to a builder's merchant, buy a big roll of galvanized wire and make your own. It requires a small amount of elbow grease, large pair of pliers or wire cutters, and if you don't have those things yourself, try and find someone who does, who you can borrow it from, and cut a load of hoops. Very rough sort of idea of size, something about 4'6" long. One. I've had hoops that I made up 20 years ago that I'm still using, and they just require a little bit of shaping, and they'll do you proud. Right, now then, what's the first thing to do? These hoops need to be pressed into the ground, and I put them about 3 feet apart. First of all, lay them down roughly where you want them. The first hoop goes in about 12 inches from the end of the row. A yard is about a footstep. In, next one, pushed in reasonably, next one. Okay, the next part, the polythene that goes over the top. Now, again, you could spend a small fortune in the garden centre, but I go to the local horticultural supplier and buy a big roll of this stuff. It costs about 15 quid and lasts me forever and a day. What we need to do is to take a length, get a cane, stick a cane in here, straight through the poly, as far in as we can go, so it's nice and firm. Take a length of the polythene, which I roll carefully this way and that way, tie it around my cane. Okay, bit of a knack here to unravel the polythene. Just walk back with it, roll it like this. You get hundreds of meters for a few pounds. Then I take over just a little bit more than I need. Out with my knife, I cut. It's very entertaining when there's a bit of a wind. What I will actually do is, because I've got this post here, I can run it round the whole lot and create a really good tight knot. So the next hoop has to go over the top like this, pushed firmly in, which tightens everything up nicely anyway. Oh, couple of hours of frantic activity. Lunchtime. Time to pick something, I think, don't you? Spring greens. Where would we be without them? Let's pull, cut, and there's my lunch. This one here is lunch for Joycey, who lives in the almshouses, who's asked me for one. And I'm very happy and hungry bunny. What I'd like to do is spend a few minutes each week looking at what's going on my allotment, because there's something to do with vegetables every day of the year, regardless of whether the weather's good or bad. And as you can see from my allotment, everything is far from perfect. I always hope that I'm going to have the greatest peas, the greatest new potatoes. The reality is usually very different, and sometimes one succeeds and sometimes we get it wrong. But us vegetable gardeners are a pretty obsessive lot, And the real world of vegetable growing is very different from what you tend to see on television these days. I hope you're going to join me next week.